Your auntie baked a tart with a secret ingredient. She thinks no one knows what it is, but you spotted the jammy fingerprint on the fridge. Nothing gets past you. That's why you've tuned in today. Welcome to the TV show with only one question. Who done it? Welcome to Armchair Detectives, the show where these 15 murder mystery enthusiasts will try and solve a deadly crime. Our amateur sleuths immerse themselves into a fictional investigation set in Mortcliffe, the village you're better off driving past. Searching for the means, motive and opportunity is Mortcliffe's top coppers, DI Knight, DC Slater and Scene of Crimes officer, Simmons. Before we head to Mortcliffe for the first time, let's meet our Armchair Detectives. Hello, Armchair Detectives. Hi. It's so beautiful. Only 3 of you play each day, so please take your armchairs. Toria, Dipak and Charlie, come on up. As you know by now, the detective guessing the killer correctly will win one of these, our golden magnifying glass trophy. Woo! They do that every day for me. You've all played Armchair Detectives at least twice now. Is it getting competitive, Toria?
Yes.
In simple terms, yes it is. Is it getting competitive, Dipak?
Definitely.
Oh my goodness, they're in the zone. Charlie, competitive?
A little bit, yes. I mean, I dipped my last one and I've been beating myself up and down the room since that because I just changed at the last moment, so...
Yeah. Do you know, it happens a lot. You just go, oh no, I'm not going to trust my gut instinct, and you change, and then you get it completely wrong. Good luck, Charlie. It's time for round 1, the crime scene. Knight and Slater meet Simmons, who's found the victim in unusual circumstances at the local library. Notepads at the ready. For the first time today, let's head over to Mortcliffe.
The deceased is Jim Tiddlesworth, local librarian.
Evening, Simmons. So, this is not natural causes?
It's impossible to be conclusive at this point. No obvious signs of injury, other than a slight bump on the back of the head. Could have been a heart attack or hematoma. The room was locked when the uniforms arrived. Judging by the carpet indentations, this particular shelf had been standing in the same place for years.
In cold blood and catch me if you can. Interesting.
Message from the killer, so...
Heavy books falling on an elderly man could cause severe intracranial injury.
But not enough to cause instantaneous death.
It's feasible. He was knocked over. He got up, walked over here, sat down, and the hematoma kicked in.
This shelf is pretty robust, Simmons. I'm thinking it definitely had some help.
We are dusting for prints. As soon as I know, you'll know.
So the desk sarge just let me know. Jim's wife, Kitty, reported him missing earlier today.
Let's go and pay her a visit, shall we?
I always said those books would be the death of him. That's why, when he started writing these articles, I was so thrilled, until I read them.
Who was he writing them for?
Mortcliffe Mercury. She begged him, she did, for years, to write.
Sorry, she being who?
Maxine Taylor. She filled his head with stupid notions of being just like Piers Morgan. I ask you.
Right.
Raventhorpe was his nom de plume. I thought it a lot of nonsense at first, but then when the threats started.
What kind of threats were they?
They didn't come here. They went to the paper. Emails and the like. That's why I was worried when he didn't come home at lunchtime, as arranged. He'd only written 2 articles, but they'd made people angry. He wanted to show what was really happening to decent people in this town.
Do you know this Patsy Leaning?
Well, she owns the B&B on the old Tybalt Road.
So Jim's article was going to reveal that?
Exactly. A nicer man you couldn't hope to meet. Tristan State doesn't deserve to be seen with the likes of her.
I knew there'd be some kind of article about me coming to this hotel with Tristan, as well as with others.
We're all adults, aren't we?
Who told you, if you don't mind me asking?
An anonymous text. Yeah, from a private number.
Do you know Jim Tittlesworth?
His wife has always had it in for me.
I saw him yesterday, same as always.
When was that, Mr. State?
It was around 12:30 when I returned books.
Which books were they?
The history of Kew Gardens and ancient Chinese gardens.
Was there anything about his behaviour that struck you as unusual or strange?
Why? What's happened?
Curiouser and curiouser. Armchair detectives. Tell me what's going on.
I kind of quite quickly noticed the history of Kew Gardens, and I thought maybe I'm just really into gardening. But he mentioned that he returned that book and the Chinese garden, so I feel like these books have got to be significant because it was a pile of crime books, I think. That was
With the exception of 2 gardening
of those
books,
two.
yeah.
I think the wife was going on about threatening emails.
Yep,
so
which
that
should
had
be
an
sent,
impact as
yeah.
well.
Patsy said something about an anonymous text from a private number.
Yeah.
Was that...
That's how she found out the article was going to be posted, because it hadn't been posted in the Mercury yet.
Let's get the victims' details up, because that might help us with this discussion. So remember, today we're investigating the death of Jim Tittlesworth. He was aged 70. Jim was a librarian at the Mortcliffe Library and a writer. He was married with 2 children. The cause of death is suspected heart attack or hematoma due to a head injury. The time of death is still under investigation.
I don't know, it's maybe a bit ageist, but I wonder why now he's decided to start writing these articles.
Has he got an axe to grind? It's not like you suddenly flip over and go, that's it, I'm going to be expose from now on. So it's obviously built up towards something by being a librarian.
Let me bring up the suspects as well for you so we can talk around them as well. The suspects so far are Kitty Tittlesworth, Jim's wife, Patsy Leaning, the B&B owner, Tristan State, landscape gardener, and Maxine Taylor, who we've not met yet, who is the editor of the Mortcliffe Mercury.
Definitely want to know who they are and what they're up to. They're obviously hiding probably a whole load of things.
Yeah, there's got to be more about Maxine. You're in charge of something that could unhinge people. Are we using the victim as a horse to peddle something that she's after, and then you might know more?
Stalking horse, that as the editor, yeah.
Is it just about sales, or is she quite an antagonistic person?
If she's been picked up, pushed into this role, got a handful of death threats, and then offed by the editor, then that's circulation a go-go, that is.
Bear in mind all these questions, armchair detectives. Here is your first piece of evidence. It is a floor plan for the library.
So the shelf that went over was front right, as you look sitting behind the desk.
So which one do we think went over?
Looked like 300 to 499.
It did, but that said on the Dewey Decimal thing that crime fiction was 600, which would be the shelf behind, which would also include the non-fiction for the gardening books. So by a process of hopeful elimination, it would be back right. If we go 1, 2, 3, 4, it would be number 4 nearest the fire exit.
Definitely the right-hand side.
Take a note of that. That might come in handy later on. Now it's time for round 2. Last movements. We're about to see Jim Tittlesworth in the final moments before his death. Let's head back to Mortcliffe.
Tristan State's advert for tomorrow's paper. How many freebies did you promise?
2 or 3, I can't remember.
Have you contacted Ravensthorpe about the revised article?
Yeah, so far no word from him. Maxine, we need advertisers to pay. If we offer Tristan freebies, how many others are going to expect the same thing?
If Ravensthorpe doesn't deliver, then... blessing in disguise, really. I'll crack on with a filler piece. Maybe we'll have a quieter week, eh? Oh, got yourself all mixed up, love.
She's really busy and not to be disturbed.
She'll see me all right, if she's interested in the future of this paper.
Mr. Robertson!
Warren.
I'm sorry, Maxine.
2 visits in 2 days. Shall I book you in for tomorrow?
What gives you the right to play God with other people's lives?
It's fine. We published the facts and nothing else.
I'm one of your biggest advertisers. I'll pull all the advertising.
Warren, sit down. Come on, sit.
Can't breathe.
Well, just take your time. Slowly, just breathe in. Just breathe. Breathe in. Oh, here, look, take one of these. They're my lifeline. They're perfect for stress. I promise you this will do you good. Take it. Every little helps. I will look into this, Warren, now.
You all right, Jim?
Oh, hello, old chap. You're done with these already?
Well, no, but I'm going away for a few days. Thought I could drop these before they're due. Can always collect them on the way back.
Oh, come on, Tristan. We'll never get there at this rate.
Okay, give me a sec.
You going anywhere special?
Just Moorcroft Country Inn for a couple of days.
All right. Well, enjoy yourselves.
Keep my books for me.
Will do. Just gonna lock up.
Again, lots and lots of information in that film. Talk me through what you saw.
Well, I think definitely the idea of Maxine kind of set him up as Ravensthorpe and then get rid of him was looking quite nice because she went, have we got anything from Ravensthorpe yet? And then sort of looked philosophical and said, might be a blessing in disguise. And that sort of seemed quite...
And that article had something to do with the advertising coming from Tristan?
Yes.
Let me add the new suspects for you, because this might help out. So we've now met Maxine Taylor, the editor of the Morcliffe Mercury, also Keegan Meek, features editor, and Warren Robertson, the MD of WR Carpets.
What is Keegan Meek so adamant to eavesdrop on? And is Maxine the only person that knows the pseudonym for the writer as well? Because it seemed to be kept a secret in the office because she was only referring to him by the writer's name as well.
Actually, who knows who he actually is?
Yeah.
Warren has put in a bunch of advertising. He's probably been suckered in free advertising from Maxine and then got both barrels of a story that's kind of exposing him. Tristan, with his business, has had 2 or 3 free adverts. So they're being lured in. And so then Maxine can say, the paper's not beholden to anyone. We've run explosive stories on 2 companies that have been our advertisers. Look at how awesome we are. Investigative journalists got killed, you know?
So we're saying Warren might be the other article.
Warren might be the other article, or it could be completely something different. But what do we think? Does that sound plausible? Or
Everything's plausible because we haven't got enough.
Think about all your questions. Let me help you out. Now's your chance to pick a piece of evidence. We have a glance at Morcliffe's local paper. Just a glance. Or Tristan's gardening ad copy for the paper. And finally, the Moorcroft Inn guest book.
I want to see forensic evidence. That's what I want to see. Yeah.
Well, let me just hold on a second to pack. No. No forensics.
I would say take a look at the Morcliffe Mercury because that can confirm or deny whether or not Warren Robertson was the target of the previous hit. And if it's something completely different, then we know I'm barking up the wrong tree.
But you're doing some really convincing barking.
Oh, yeah, I'm
That
convincing
was
yourself.
a really convincing bark.
Doesn't mean I'm right.
That was a definite woof.
I'll go with the woof.
You're going to go with a woof?
Let's start somewhere till we get some proper evidence.
So... It's all proper evidence. It's how you interpret it, Dipak. So you're wanting to see the Mortcliffe Mercury?
Please.
It literally is a glance.
Touché.
Have a look.
Do you
so
see...
it comes out on first.
Yeah. He died Wednesday, 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock is
p.m.
when
was
they...
the point body was discovered, and it was going to be released on Thursday.
So potentially before the deadline.
Seems like if you had a motive against trying to stop what was about to be printed in the paper, it would suggest that you knew what was about to be printed, or you'd had enough, it was going to be printed anyway, and this person needed to be out of life. Gone.
Armchair detectives, it's time to lock in your prime suspect. Now. Toria, who have you chosen and why?
I have chosen Maxine at this stage.
Why?
Those pills. My question is maybe whatever it is heart-related, and an overdose of that could have caused a heart...
Because, of course, we still don't know exactly what the cause of death is. Dipak, who have you chosen as your prime suspect?
No, I've gone for the extremely suspicious Maxine.
Because?
She's kind of got the only motive to why she needs to get rid of this person who's causing more trouble for her than she might have realised.
Charlie?
I've gone for Kitty,
right.
the wife.
Excuse me, pardon me?
Kitty, the wife.
You've gone for the elderly, bereaved...
Bingo.
You've gone for a sweet-looking old lady...
Exactly.
...who has so far not featured apart from being clearly grief-stricken.
One moment, I'm waiting for this. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, hold on a sec. Right, wait a minute.
Kitty has been there. She spent her entire life in her husband's shadow. She's always been a frustrated journalist. A life under a different nom de plume, perhaps. I don't know, Dovethorpe. And suddenly the husband's getting the notices, the husband's getting all this sort of stuff. She's sick of it. She goes in one day, undoes a wing nut. She knows exactly which one in the library. Cascade of books. She just meant to teach him a lesson, and this sweet old lady will be behind bars.
I really do. So, to round up the suspects just now, Toria has gone for Maxine, Dipak has gone for Maxine, and Charlie has just thrown all of the cards out and has gone for the grieving, beautiful, sensitive widow, Kitty. And it's on to round 3, the police interviews. Knight and Slater have called in Warren, Patsy, Tristan and Maxine for questioning. Will the Mortcliffe 4 reveal a key clue? It's off to the police station.
Can you confirm your whereabouts on Wednesday at around 12 o'clock midday?
I was with Maxine Taylor, editor of the Mortcliffe Mercury, in her office.
And that's on the 3rd floor of the Mortcliffe Library building?
Yes.
What was the nature of your visit?
It's a personal question.
Yes, it is. That's my job.
Well, I'd gone to complain about an article. Well, she put me completely at ease. Well, I don't remember much, but it was very amicable.
After that, we drove to the Moorcroft Inn. They had advertised a special that morning, so I'd called Tristan to see if he was keen. He was. I booked it, and we got there just before 1, and we spent the rest of the day and the night there.
So before you drove there, you were at the library with Tristan?
Yeah, at about 12. But I was just waiting for Tristan to drop off his books.
Who else was there?
I don't know, I didn't see anyone.
You didn't go inside?
I popped my head in for a second to ask Tristan to hurry up, but I wasn't paying attention.
So you saw no one arrive or leave?
No.
So, as far as you're aware, Tristan was the only person in the library with Jim.
Yes, but then he left and we spent the whole of the day together.
So I told him where I was going and then we left.
What is the nature of your relationship with Patsy Leaning?
We're friends.
Friends?
With benefits.
How does Patsy feel about that?
You'd have to ask her.
And it's not something you're ashamed of?
No, I wouldn't think so. You've never been lonely, Inspector. Patsy's a nice woman.
And no one else knew where you were going?
No one, apart from Jim. Patsy only called me that morning.
Warren Robertson seems to have enjoyed his meeting with you on Wednesday.
He was upset, but I calmed him down.
And what time did the meeting take place?
It's about 12-ish. Keegan, my features editor, can confirm that.
And you were in your office with him the entire time?
Yes, he really was very agitated. To be honest, I was a bit taken aback at how angry he was, but he eventually saw sense.
What exactly was he angry about?
I don't think that's relevant to this investigation.
This is a murder investigation, Miss Taylor. Everything is relevant.
Jim was my friend. A very good friend. I've known him for years. Poor Kitty. She'll be lost. Why are you interrogating innocent people when a cold-blooded killer stalks the streets?
We're doing our jobs, Miss Taylor. Talking of jobs, how is yours going?
Busy as usual.
Not what I've heard. I believe your readership is in decline. That you're under tremendous pressure to keep the advertising revenue while increasing readership.
Do you like a glass of water, Miss Taylor?
No. What I need is some breathing space.
Wouldn't a murder be an excellent way for a newspaper to regain lost ground?
That is disgusting.
Please sit down, Miss Taylor. This interview isn't over.
Oh, I think it is.
I think DI Knight drinks too much coffee. Has anyone else noticed? Tell me what came up in those interviews.
There's definitely a tie to do with what's going on with this paper. And she's still on these stress tablets, which she seems to have 7.
Warren came out after us and said, I don't remember what the meeting was about, which means that either through a combination of vast quantities of single malt or through these pills, he's forgotten what he was upset about.
He thinks he had a pleasant meeting.
Armchair detectives, let me help you out a bit.
Please.
You can pick a piece of evidence. We now have Tristan's gardening ad copy for the paper, the Moorcroft Inn guest book, or a new piece of evidence, Ravensthorpe's last published column.
Go for the guest book, because that'll at least eliminate or
Tell us
rule
if
in.
someone's telling a...
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay, yep.
Or had a great time, kiss, kiss, kiss.
The Moorcroft Inn guest book. Let's have a look at it. Wednesday, 102 C. Brown and G. Jekyll. 12:15, Mr. and Mrs. J. Craddock. 1:10, the Jones family.
Well, the only ones that I think it could be on that list would be Brown and Jekyll, if it is them. But if it is them, why are they going under a different name?
Well, what time did Patsy say that they checked into the hotel?
1 o'clock.
1
Before
o'clock.
1 o'clock. Do we accept 102 to be before 1 o'clock?
Technically not, because it's after 1 o'clock, but
But it
depends
seems
on
a
what you see.
remarkably precise number as well. You know, who books in for 102 unless they've gone, 102, as if to sort of prove a point on.
OK, guys, it's time to pick your prime suspect again. Let's have a look at the board. Kitty, Patsy, Tristan, Maxine, Keegan, Warren. Write the names in your notebooks now. So, Toria, last time your prime suspect was Maxine. Have you changed your mind?
Yes.
Who have you gone for?
Keegan.
Keegan? Why?
Something about the way he was listening into the door and not reacting to the conversation. Maybe he's desperate, so desperate to save his job that he thinks killing someone will generate enough readership to keep the paper going and keep him in.
I mean, it's extreme, but newspapers are facing a difficult time just now. You never know. Dipak, last time you went for Maxine. Have you changed your mind?
Yeah, because I was wrong. I was
Yeah?
gone for Tristan.
Why Tristan?
He's definitely lying about something and coming back to that crime scene and the whole point that you've got a librarian who would allow 2 books to be in the wrong section or not be in the wrong section as he put them away to stop people thinking he'd just been in and out.
Charlie, last time you went for
Kitty, yes.
Have you changed your mind?
Well, obviously I took on board what you'd said about how this sweet old lady couldn't conceivably be a murderer. And then we got to the stage where Maxine has these forgetfulness pills, and we thought a sort of Manchurian candidate style thing where she could programme. So I stuck with Kitty, only she's now not working under her own control.
A Manchurian candidate scenario. So, to round up the suspects, Toria has gone for Keegan. Dipak has gone for Tristan. And Charlie believes that Kitty is being controlled by another person. So it's time for round 4 now, where we dig a little bit deeper. Let's see what happened the day before Jim's death. Let's head back to Mortcliffe.
Honestly, Jim, you were up all night. You've taken on far too much.
You keep thinking of that caravan in Devon, love.
No point in happy holidays if you're dead.
The trouble about writing the truth is, what do you do when you don't have any?
There's always Patsy's story.
You really think all that malarkey is true?
Well, I was down at the co-op with Jenny. Her brother had been off for a weekend with Patsy, came back a different man, albeit with a lighter wallet. Didn't see any sense in denying it either. That's not the first time I've heard it, but it's the first time anybody's admitted it so openly.
I've emailed it to you as well.
Oh, Jim.
Oh, read it and weep, my dear. I think it's the best one yet.
Have you read it?
He's just dropped it off. Listen, Warren Robertson's called you 7 times already this morning. You're going to need to call him back.
Yeah, I will do. I've just got 1 or 2 things to do first.
Mr. Robertson!
Who the hell is Raventhorpe?
Warren, I was just about to call you.
I could cost you your job, Maxine. Do not test me.
You have no right to come in here and threaten me. Get out now.
Is that all you have to say?
Absolutely. Leave now. Keegan, please will you call the police?
Hello, police. Yes, I'd like to report a threatening disturbance.
God's sake.
Maxie, we may have a problem.
Well.
Bombshell. Warren took the article. Keegan was going to get an email of the article later, so he knew it had been taken by Warren because it had disappeared off the desk. And then we've got a situation where Patsy's got information that she's going to be the next victim, and I can't read fast enough to get all of those text messages. So
it
how did
said
you guys
darling at the beginning of one of them. So Warren is calling Patsy darling?
Yep, but I mean, we've already had the stuff from poor Kitty that she's a bit of a local good time girl with, you know, multiple partners and a lighter wallet said afterwards, which is possibly a subtle way. And if Warren's been kind of availing himself of her services in the past, that would explain why he's got her number and why he wanted to give her the heads up.
Well, let's see if any of the evidence picks can help you out. And there is a new item on the list. So Tristan's gardening ad, copy for the paper. Ravensthorpe's last published column, the pill Maxine took at her police interview.
Well, we're relatively comfortable if the column is probably going to be towards Patsy, and that's why it's come about. The ad we've been ignoring for a while. Should we go for the shiny, shiny new thing that's being dangled in front of us like a cat with keys?
This pill's been bugging us with every film.
So let's go for the pill for now and take the ad after. Pill for now.
Have a look. So that is the pill she was taking in the interview, Saturday's pill.
That means that she didn't take a pill on Wednesday because she gave Wednesday's pill away.
Or she's a day ahead because she gave Wednesday's pill away, which means she hasn't actually given one to Jim because she's only one day ahead.
Armchair detectives, it's time for you to pick your prime suspect again. Write down your prime suspect now. Write it down at home if you think you know who it is. Victoria, last time you went for Keegan. Have you changed your mind?
Jumping to Tristan now.
Tristan, OK. Why?
I think he was lying when he said we did this in this order and this person was the only person we knew when we were at this time.
OK.
And those books.
Dipak, last time you went for Tristan.
Yep.
Have you changed your mind?
Yeah, because I was wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Who have you gone for?
Warren.
Warren. Why?
So he's got something going on with Patsy. There's a relationship we haven't seen yet. But again, means motive. He stole that pill that he didn't take. Because it seems that Maxine was taking pills correctly and somehow he might have even been faking his stress because he seemed stressed the day before and didn't need a pill and a magic double shot of whiskey.
Okay. Charlie, last time you went for Kitty.
Indeed.
Who have you gone for this time?
Well, there's now starting to get a little bit of evidence from outlandish theories, which takes most of the fun out of it. So I've gone for Patsy instead.
Why?
Because she's obviously there as the next victim of Ravensthorpe's poison pen. So she's got the kind of the friend with benefits is going to appear at the same time. They both go into the library. She gets a nice obvious in front of the cameras, all wait out in the car. Goes round the back where Tristan's left the fire escape open, pushes the bookcase over on the old guy, disappears out the fire escape, leaving it to click with no one any the wiser.
All valid theories, so to round up at this stage, prime suspects are Toria has gone for Tristan, Dipak has gone for Warren, and Charlie has gone for Patsy. Well, it's time now for round 5, the final clues. Will Knight and Slater be able to catch the killer and be front page news? Notepads at the ready, let's find out.
He arrived about 11:30, really angry. Stormed straight past me into her office.
Any idea why he was so angry?
Yeah. He found out who Ravensthorpe was.
Who told him?
Jim always insisted on delivering hard copies as well as emails. Apparently he doesn't trust the internet. Mr. Robertson grabbed the hard copy off my desk when he stormed out of here on Tuesday.
So Warren Robertson was here 2 days in a row, angry and unhappy.
Tuesday I had to call the police, but Wednesday Maxine tried to talk him down. It must have worked. I stood at the door, and then by the time he left he was fine. Completely mellow. Almost like a different person.
Oh, come in.
The printers say we can do an update on Jim's murder if we get a copy to them within the hour. Shall I write the copy?
No, I'll do it.
Only thing is we'd have to lose Tristan's advert. We don't have space for both.
This is the biggest story we've had in years. We need to run it. Tristan can wait till he comes back from holiday.
That advert keeps coming up, doesn't it?
Only 2 people knew who Ravensthorpe was. Are you guys getting that?
By the time of his death, a lot more people could have known. Because if Warren found out, you don't know who he's been ranting and raving to.
Did Tristan and Patsy know? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, well, Patsy
That's
also
the thing
knew.
we don't know, do we? We don't know. You've got 2 pieces of evidence left. Pick the right one and it might help you out. Do you want to see Tristan's ad or the last published column of Ravensthorpe? Please put your hands up if you want to see the gardening ad.
Yes, I'll do it. Why not? Let's go for the gardening ad.
2 for 1, I'm afraid, Dipak.
Why not?
We're seeing the gardening ad. Let's have a look at it. Experienced landscape gardener offers 25 years of experience. Patches and decking, turfing and planting, year-round seasonal maintenance, pest management, path, driveways and walls. Contact Tristan State on 077 009 00361 for a free quote.
That number, we didn't see the number that text came from.
The text came from a withheld number. But
No number showing.
there's no number showing, but the other two did. I can't remember the numbers from, didn't grab them in time. So that could be proof positive that he's having an affair with Patsy, which we already knew.
Well, it would make sense if the message was coming from him saying, darling, such and such. Maybe he already knew. We're assuming it was Warren, but actually Tristan found out.
Armchair detectives. It's the moment when you pick who you're accusing. For the chance of winning the golden magnifying glass trophy. Kitty, Patsy, Tristan, Maxine, Keegan, Warren. It's time to answer the only question that matters. Who done it? Hello to the Felixstowe Fishing Club for hoping to get the catch of the day in today's killer. Time's up, notepads down. The moment has arrived. Armchair detectives, who have you accused? Toria.
I've gone for Tristan.
Why?
At least in my head, there's a whole load of plot holes with him where things they're just not adding up. But
Yeah.
something's not.
Something's not right. Dipak, who are you accusing?
I've stuck with Warren.
Warren. Because?
The pill,
The pill.
the 2 days visiting of anger, the relationship possibly with Patsy. I wanted it to be Tristan because he was the only liar that I could see. But I'm going to stick with Warren.
accused Warren?
I'm going to use something called evidence.
All right, interesting. Charlie, who are you accusing?
I'm going for Patsy.
Right.
On the grounds Warren's got a really great revenge motive. Get back at. He knows who Ravensthorpe is. He's passed it on to her. She's gone there with a nice little in front of the camera's alibi, gone round the back to the opened fire escape and pushed it, because it's the only one who's kind of prevention of reputation destruction rather than revenge for reputation destruction.
So in summary, Toria has gone for Tristan, Dipak has gone for Warren, and Charlie has gone for Patsy. There's a final piece of evidence, though, left over on the board, so let's have a look at it. Would it have affected your decision? It is the Ravensthorpe last published column. It says, rug pulled from under dodgy WR carpets. Apparently, the owner offered thousands of pounds in brown envelopes to Mortcliffe's MP to ask questions. Would that have affected your decision, Toria?
No.
Good. Dipak? Charlie?
At this stage,
I mean, it
don't-
says to me, Kitty did it. I mean, that's what that's saying.
I don't even know who I am anymore.
Well, what really happened in today's story, telltale signs? Who killed Jim Tiddlesworth? Let's find out who done it.
Miss Taylor told me she'd write the copy for Jim's murder herself. When I reminded her we would have to shift Tristan's advert, she said it would be fine. She would deal with it when he returned from holiday.
Well, if that's what Keegan said, then fine. I just can't remember.
Tristan told Jim Tiddlesworth he was going away when he went to drop off his library books on Wednesday at about midday.
You going anywhere special?
Just the Moorcroft country in for a couple of days.
All right. Well, enjoy yourselves.
You must have been in the vicinity to hear that, because Tristan assured us he told no one else.
As I've already told you, I was with Warren the entire time in my office.
Who, when he left your office, seemed, to quote Keegan again, completely mellow, almost like a different person.
We were together the entire time.
What medication are you on, Miss Taylor?
Standard anti-anxieties. They have a prescription. Ask my doctor.
And am I right in thinking you've been advised never to drink alcohol with your anti-anxiety medication?
I was with Warren the entire time. He's already told you this himself.
Actually, he didn't. He told us you were very nice to him, but when we pressed him, it appeared as though he had almost no recollection of the conversation.
As if you'd given Warren Robertson one of your helpful anti-anxieties along with a double tot of whiskey.
Come on, sit.
I can't breathe.
Take one of these. They're my lifeline. Every little helps.
Warren wouldn't have been in any position to notice you leave.
No one would have unless they kept a careful watch of the fire escape which leads from your office all the way down to the back door of the library.
This is harassment.
No, it's not, actually.
Ravensthorpe was a complete miscalculation. It was stoking too many fires. You went to see Jim to tell him that Ravensthorpe was over. My guess is he didn't agree.
Publish and be damned, he said. The fool.
So did you leave and come back again? No. You would have stayed. Otherwise, you wouldn't have heard that Tristan was going away. You waited until Tristan left, and then you heard Jim lock the door. What you didn't realize is that Jim grabbed the shelf in an attempt to steady himself. In doing so, he pulled the whole thing on top of him. Forensics identified his fingerprints. The impact of the books hitting his head was enough to cause a fatal subdural hematoma in someone of his age.
I only meant for him to be slightly hurt. I never meant... just so he wouldn't be able to write. I never meant... He was my friend.
Well, Armchair Detectives, she did give Warren a pill. In combination with the whiskey, it sent him to sleep. You ruled her out as a suspect because you thought, well, that's why the pills are all there. And I'm afraid none of you picked today's killer. Better luck next time. Armchair Detectives over here. Did any of you get it right, Maxine? Eloise! Yes. And I was wrong as well, but who cares? Never mind, Armchair Detectives. Better luck next time. That's all from Armchair Detectives. Come back tomorrow to see Knight and Slater investigating a deadly crime where art and recycling collide. And remember, no one gets away with murder in Mortcliffe. Goodbye. Better luck next time. That was a tough one. Tough one. Tough one.